Hello to everyone in TV land. This is Focus on Liberia online television, and you're listening to the Focus on Liberia Daily News with Gwendolyn Dorado. First, the headlines. Ministry of Commerce and Industry authorities expresses utmost concern over recent reports suggesting the presence of damaged rice involving some importers. River G County Senator Francis Dopu writes the Senate to notify the executive branches of government through the Ministry of Finance to recharacterize the road user exemption permit granted to be a mountain mining company operating in western Liberia. Liberia National Police dismisses with immediate effect two of its officers. Away from home, a beauty queen in Rwanda has been arrested for drink driving and driving without a license. This plus many more coming up on the Daily News. Now the news in details. Authorities at the Ministry of Commerce and Industry have expressed utmost concern over recent reports suggesting the presence of damaged rice involving some importers. The ministry, in a statement, said it has recognized the urgency of the matter and has launched a full investigation through its inspectorate division to examine the claims, particularly as they relate to certain importers and suppliers. The ministry further stated that its inspection teams are conducting rigorous checks to identify and remove any compromised products and assured the public that all findings will be promptly and transparently shared. Meanwhile, the Ministry of Commerce said it is committed to enforcing the highest consumer protection and safety standards. The authorities further called on citizens to join in the effort by reporting expired or suspicious products found in the market to their offices or through designated hotlines. River G County Senator Francis S. Dopo writes the Senate to notify the executive branches of government through the Ministry of Finance and Development Planning to recharacterize the road user exemption permit granted to be a mountain mining company operating in western Liberia. In a communication to the Liberian Senate, which was read on Tuesday, October 29, during the 41-day regular sitting, first session of the 55th legislature, Senator Dopu said his letter is directed to a matter of significant importance. According to him, it is about the nation's fiscal integrity and equitable treatment of all stakeholders in the mining industry. The refugee lawmaker noted that he has learned that the exemption granted to be a mountain mining corporation under Section 24.2A8 of the First Amendment to the restated and amended Mineral Development Agreement is inconsistent with the overarching principles enshrined in the Liberia Revenue Code. Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives Thomas P. Fowler has requested the House majority bloc to give him more time to consult with his lawyers before deciding whether he will honor their invitation or not. The majority bloc comprises 43 members of the House who are calling for the Speaker to be removed. This move comes in the wake of growing tensions and calls for Kofa's removal as a fraction of representatives accuse him of severe corruption and poor leadership. Last week, a group of representatives opposing Speaker Kofa extended an invitation to Deputy Speaker Fowler, urging him to join the ranks in their quest to oust the Speaker. In a carefully worded letter, Fowler responded by requesting to be excused from the ongoing session, citing the need to consult with his legal team before making any decisions that could have serious constitutional implications. Finance Minister Augustine Gafwan has acknowledged that Liberia's rising debt poses a serious challenge to the country's economic growth. However, he noted that despite the challenges, the Ministry of Finance is working diligently to address the issue. Gafuan noted that Liberia's debt currently stands at a moderate 2.85 billion. To begin managing the situation effectively, the government will need to allocate 300 million annually. He added that the ministry is implementing various measures aimed at making progress on debt reduction. Speaking to the Voice of America on the sideline of the ongoing World Bank and IMF annual meeting in Washington, D.C., Gafford announced the successful acquisition of US 210 million from IMF under its extended credit facility program, a key financial initiative aimed at bolstering Liberia's economy. This amount, he said, will be used to boost the central bank reserve. Minister Gaffron, who previously served under the former President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf and was reappointed by current President Joseph Yoma Boakai following the resignation of Boimai Kamara, stated that securing this funding was one of his primary goals since taking office just over a month ago. Liberia is hosting the annual Mana River Union Civil Peace Service Conference, a gathering aimed at addressing the urgent issue of drug and substance abuse across the region. The 3-day conference, which began on Tuesday, October 29, at Riverside Resort and Villa Bushra Island, brings together representatives from Liberia, Sierra Leone, and the international stakeholders to tackle the escalating crisis impacting communities in the Mana River Union. Organized by the Civil Peace Service Networks of Liberia and Sierra Leone, the event operates under the theme Working in Partnership to Combat Drugs and Substance Abuse in Liberia and Sierra Leone to Build Resilient Communities in the MRU. It has attracted prominent figures, including Dr. Christopher Leto of the Liberia Council of Churches, Deconte E. George, coordinator of Bread for the Word and CPS Liberia, and Maurice Kamara Senior of the YMCA. Ambassador Abigail B.L. Conner, founder and executive officer of the Alliance for Peace, Justice, and Human Rights in Liberia, delivered the keynote address, emphasizing the urgency of uniting against the invisible war of drugs and substance abuse, which she described as ravaging communities and devastating the lives of youth. The Liberian National Police has, with immediate effect, dismissed two of its officers, ACP Sam S.D. Bala and Patrolman Augustine G. Ban, from the services of the LMP for gross misconducts. The dismissal followed recommendation from the Special Investigation Team of the Professional Standard Division on allegation of impropriety of the officers. On October 12, at about 6 p.m., Patrolman Augustine G. Ban and the suspended officer Sensi Massacre unlawfully entered the premises of luxury hotel located in the Tingos Village community, Pinsville City, intimidated and arrested victims Dean Youngun and Levan Tu under the instruction of ACP Sim S.D. Wala. The officers invaded the privacy of the victims without any legal instrument, resulting to the arrest, seizure of their properties, and some assorted documents and cash in the amount of US 24,000, of which US 12,000 was unaccounted for. According to the LMP, the action violates Category 1 and 2 offenses, which are tantamount to abuse of authority, harassment of civilians, and intimidation of the LMP administrative instructions on discipline and professional standards as enshrined in the LMP disciplinary regulation of 2016. Dismissed officers Wala and Ben have been turned over to the Crime Services Department for criminal investigation to be forwarded to court based on further recommendation from the Professional Standards division. The government of Liberia has taken a transformative step in its environmental journey by signing a letter of engagement with the Coalition for Rainforest Nations. The landmark agreement signifies Liberia's commitment to participating actively in the global carbon market aimed at empowering carbon trading initiatives that will particularly benefit communities living near the forest while also unlocking new avenues for climate finance to support national development goals. The engagement is set on to run from 2024 to 2026 and will commence immediately. Representatives from the Environmental Protection Agency, Forestry Development Authority, Ministry of Finance and Development Planning, and the Ministry of Justice signed the letter of engagement on September 27 on behalf of the government of Liberia. The Coalition for Rainforest Nations, which includes over 50 member countries, brings invaluable expertise in helping tropical nations to trade carbon credits. Through the partnership, Liberia received crucial technical support to enhance its capacity for monitoring, reporting, and verifying greenhouse gas emissions, aligning with the Paris Agreement standards. The collaboration is also geared towards strengthening Liberia's institutional framework to prepare for results based payments through platforms such as REDD and the ITMOs. Key areas of focus will include developing the forest reference emission levels, improving the national GHG inventory, and ensuring adherence to international reporting standards essential for engaging in the carbon market. Away from Liberia, a beauty queen in Rwanda has been arrested for drinking driving and driving without a license. Police said Divine Muheto, who won the most recent Miss Rwanda beauty pageant, had damaged infrastructure and then fled the scene. The statement does not say whether anybody was hurt in the incident. It is not the first time the 21-year-old has driven under the influence of alcohol, police in the East African country added. Ms. Mohatu has not publicly reacted to the arrest. It was announced by the police on Tuesday after days of speculation that she had been detained over a collation. A court in capital city Kagila will begin hearing Ms. Mohatu's case on Thursday, a prosecution spokesman told local media. Ms. Mohatu gained fame in Rwanda after she won the National Beauty Contest in 2022. That does it for the Focus on Liberia Daily News. I do a recap of the headlines. Ministry of Commerce and Industry Authority expresses utmost concern over recent reports suggesting the presence of damaged rice involving some importers. Riverview County Senator Francis Dopu writes the Senate to notify the executive branches of government through the Ministry of Finance to recharacterize the road user exemption permit granted to Beer Mountain mining company operating in western Liberia. The National Police dismisses with immediate effect two of its officers, ACP Sam S. Dibala and Patrolman Augustine G. Ban, from the services of the LMP for gross misconduct. Away from home, a beauty queen in Rwanda has been arrested for drink driving and driving without a license. On behalf of the management and staff of Focus on Liberia, many thanks to our listeners and viewers. We urge that you keep following us and share our videos. My name is Gwendolyn Dorado. I presented.